Hi, so welcome to another episode in which we are going to talk about the roadmap for a web developer in 2024. I was checking in, like my YouTube analytics showed me that most of the people are searching for this, like what should be the web developers roadmap look like in 2024. And I thought, why not just make a video on that? Because it's been 12 years I've been in this domain, and since AI is all over us, all around us, it's the time that what has changed? Like, is the process similar? What we can learn, what we can unlearn, and how to basically learn in this world of AI. So this is what this podcast is going to be. Before starting, I would like to update like what's happening on my project. So I've been building this product called AI Note, and it's the secret name right now, for it's not named yet. So AI Note is an iOS app which helps you take notes by talking to it, and it also helps you transcribe YouTube podcast audios, and also keep track of your mood journaling. So it does two three things, not just a simple note taking app. That's what I'm building, and I'm in the process of adding an onboarding screen in that. I'll share more details, and I'll make a proper video of all the progress we have made in the past 1 week. So in this video, let's dive into like the core of how a web developer should be. If you are a web developer, or if you're trying to uplift your like learnings or know more things in this domain, or if you are just a student, this video would be very helpful for you. If you are not in this category, I would like you to like, you can skip this one. And as usual, we can start, but increase the speed to 1.5x. If you are listening on Spotify, that's directly in the dashboard. If you are on YouTube, you can click on the settings icon and click on 1.5x. That will help you increase it, me to talk faster so you can learn quicker. That's what I usually do with the podcasts which are slower. So yeah, let's start. So before starting, I would like to tell you my story, how I learned. I started learning development like proper professionally in 2012. I was in my engineering last year, and I thought, well, I knew a bit of C and C++ because that was in our class or course, but I never had any interest because I was not building anything fun with those tools. And then in 2012, I thought I want to build my own blog. And I was listening to stories in our campus that there are kids who are writing blogs and earning from AdSense, and the earnings are huge. Like some of them are earning like 50,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees a month. This was very exciting to me back then. Like this amount was huge for a person, and this really excited me that okay, just writing blogs can make you 50,000 rupees, but I was not a writer. And then I talked to a couple of friends, and they said these guys are also not writers, they are just writing anything in tech. And I thought, okay, I can do that, but I also wanted to build something. So I started building my own blog. I did not use WordPress, I did not use all the tools these guys were using. uh, Back then it was just a very naive move, but now I think like why I did that, because I was really interested on building something by my own rather than using something which is already built. And back then I didn't know anything about building a blog. So what I did, I thought I need to learn HTML. I just googled how to build a blog, and I know, okay, you have to learn HTML first because that's the building block of anything on web. So I was in my grandmom's house one night, and I had a very old laptop, Lenovo laptop. I just opened it. I used Wiki, I forgot the name. I think W3 Schools. Yeah. So W3 Schools, I just completed the course within like 1 or 2 hours. I was running the examples, I learned a couple of tags. So my understanding would be like 50-60% of HTML in just 2 hours. That was my first time learning HTML. And then I thought, okay, I have pretty good understanding of this. Now what next? And then there was CSS. Now CSS can be a mess if you want to understand it completely. Some like I know a couple of developers right now who are so advanced in CSS, like I still don't know those concepts. And some are so noob in CSS, are they just don't know how to center a div basically. and they don't need to in their jobs. So it's a very big spectrum in just learning CSS. Someone can be a huge ninja CSS developer, someone can be a very noob developer. But technically, CSS is just styling your elements, and all the designing happens on CSS. Nowadays, there are some crazy tools which can help you with these. You don't have to learn even CSS right now, and that's what we are going to talk about later. But yeah, after learning CSS, then I moved to learning JS, and I started doing a couple of JavaScript scripts. I understood like, okay, all the cool magic is going to happen if I understand JavaScript. So I started tinkering with the script tag, showing alerts on clicking of button. Back then it felt like magic. It's that feeling when you see the sea first time or the big mountains first time, you just jaw drop. And that's what happened to me. Okay, what's happening? I'm writing something, and then I can click on a button and an alert comes up, a confirmation pop-up comes up. It was very exciting, and that's what I like about whole programming domain. And after doing all this, I thought, okay, I'm good to go. I can build my own blogging system. But there was a big issue. Now you have to have a database, you have to keep things on server, you have to run a server. What is a server? And then I came into learning a bit of backend as well. And then the whole blogging project was dragging for months because I was learning backend. And then I started tinkering with PHP because PHP was super cool back then. And I felt like it's super easy. It makes up with the HTML tags, and I learned MySQL. I ran my own server in DigitalOcean. I think no, back then there was no DigitalOcean. I used the cPanel. I hosted it somewhere, I don't know where, and then I could just log in there. I was transferring my websites via FTP. Back then it was a big hassle to do all these. Nowadays everything is in just one click, which we'll see right now. So yeah, this has been my learning curve. After that, I moved to Android development, then moved to iOS development, then moved to React Native and multi-platforms. Nowadays, I'm building a Mac app. I've built a games. So if you know just the fundamentals, it's very easy to learn new things. It compounds easily. So if you are in the boat right now of this learning, just learn the basic fundamentals, and anything else will become super easy for you. First thing is, do not fret about the technology, what technology you are learning. Everything in internet or in computer is exactly same. It's just some APIs are different, some texts are different, some concepts are different, but fundamentally everything is same. So I generally use this website, which is called Roadmap SH. I have shared this with a lot of uh, interns or junior developers I have worked with. I have given them as a roadmap. They can upskill themselves. So if you enter here, how to learn in web dev in 2024, I'm not just going to list by list using this website. This will give us a very basic understanding of how things look. So a graphical user interface, you can say, not just this audio. And I'll also tell you what you can skip and what you can focus on or what you can add in between. So first thing, you should know how internet works. I'm not going to go into detail of how internet works. I hope if you are on internet, you have a basic understanding already. If you don't know like how internet works, how we are connected to the world, your first step should be to know that. And any single video can explain you all these 6 topics within like 5-10 minutes. What is HTTP, what is domain name, what is hosting, what is DNS, browsers, and how they work. This all is just a 10-minute video. So go check it out and you're done with number 1, internet. Then the fundamental is learning HTML. This is the most important thing. So first of all, learn the basics. Go through any YouTube tutorial or maybe W3 schools. I think they are still doing great. And you just have to learn the very basic semantics. What are the tags? How you can just type one HTML header and close it, the tag, and put some paragraphs. The page shows up in your browser. Once you do this, it will again take you like 30 minutes nowadays. You can even chat with ChatGPT. So this is what one new thing which I want to introduce in 2024 if you are learning. If you want to know what is HTML, just go and talk to a Claude agent or a ChatGPT. I can show you how it should look like. So for example, I'm using Claude 3 Opus nowadays instead of ChatGPT. So you can say, hey, you are my HTML teacher and will help me learn all about HTML. Create a course plan for me and start. So this is a very basic prompt I've shared, that the AI agent is your HTML teacher. It will give you a course plan, how you can learn it. So it will then reply, okay, what is like introduction to HTML, HTML document structure. So you will get a very good structured template on how you will go through the process. This is very important. Like for me, I feel this kind of learning where you have a structure already in your mind, what you're going to learn, it helps you understand things faster. So very easily it has created a 10 chapter plan. Don't get like too overwhelmed with it, because most of it is super simple, just one liner explanations and you're good to go. The major thing with HTML I feel is the applying of these examples, like making them and seeing them yourself. Just like, for example, reading this document here will make you feel okay, you understood everything, but copying this code, writing a .html file and saving and refreshing and seeing these changes, and then putting like my first HTML page to your name and seeing that change, it it has a very long lasting effect on your understanding. So do that, learn with examples a lot, so you're good to go with the HTML. Once you know basics of HTML and even SEO basics, I would not care much about SEO basics if you are, well, no, I would not care about SEO basics if you are not into, if you do not know how to do web dev. SEO should be the last topic here. Once you go into SEO, it's again, it's a topic in itself. So I would not be worried about it in the beginning as a developer. CSS, learn the basics. Again, the whole trajectory of learning CSS can be very overwhelming. There is like animations as well, there are responsiveness, there's a lot of things which happens on CSS. And again, it could be very controversial right now, like someone would say, why would you do that? But I would highly suggest anyone who is still like right now learning CSS, they should go with Tailwind CSS. So Tailwind is kind of a wrapper on CSS. They make it very easy to write CSS directly on your HTML tags. For example, like you do this BG slate 100. This will put a background color with slate 100 shadow. And this will be done automatically by them. For example, if you do rounded Excel, so your div will have corners, rounded corners with Excel size. In CSS, this would need again 2-3 lines or a very clunky code. Even you can do animations with it. So it makes writing CSS fun for me, basically. And you can search anything. For example, if you want to say, okay, I want to create a button, you can go to their button examples. They will show you how these buttons look. You can go to get code. I think I'm on their UI plan, but yeah, don't buy their UI plan. It's like a UI library they have created. But technically, writing CSS in 2024 is Tailwind, and you should be using it. If you are not, you will be spending way more time than necessary to just create these styles on your web pages. You should focus on solving the real world problem, not on the styling and designing. If you are a web developer, if you are a designer and the core is design, then yeah, you could give more time to CSS. But if you're a developer working on logics is your thing, I would not suggest to give more time in CSS. Just move on to Tailwind, learn Tailwind. Tailwind is really neat. It's production ready. Most of my apps which I have built on web has used Tailwind only, nothing else. Then you can move on to learning the basics of JavaScript. JavaScript is the very good programming language technically. If you are a new coder, pick JavaScript. You will not be wrong in picking it. Nowadays there are fads coming up. Someone is learning Rust, someone is learning Go, but JavaScript has been there for last 10 years. It will be there, I don't know, 10-20 years, and it will be there for next 10-20 years. You can build anything in JavaScript. That's the beauty of JavaScript. You can build servers, you can build a mobile app, you can build a Mac app, you can build a Windows app, you can build web apps. Basically it was built to build web apps, so it's best on web apps. And there are people who will say there are shortcomings on JavaScript, there are this wrong, that wrong. If you're just a beginner developer, don't listen to that. Just focus on learning it. Once you learn the basics of JavaScript, you're good to go. And one of the thing is fetch API Ajax, how the requests are made from your client to servers. Though that kind of code is get complicated and very hard to understand for a new developer. So I would suggest a bit focus on these things, create some few examples, and always keep asking Claude or GPT about learning all these things. So as I said, it's 2024. AI is all over the internet, all over in your life. So go talk to Claude whenever you want to learn something, and it will help you on becoming a best version or best coder or best developer without spending much time. And another thing is, there are a lot of courses coming up. Like, anybody is selling you a course, don't buy any course to learn web development. You do not need a course. You just need a roadmap.sh. You know what you want to learn. There is a proper roadmap. Just go one by one on these things and you will be ready. Another thing on learning I would like to share is, always learn by building something. So for example, I started learning because I was building a blog. So you might have a very cool app idea. Again, do not make your cool idea to be too complex, like I want to build the next Facebook or next Instagram. You can build that, but again, you the learning curve will be so steep that I'm pretty sure you will lose interest in the mid, and it will it will not go well with your learning, like psychology. So pick a very small project, and there are tons of small projects. Even I'm going to make a project, a podcast explaining what kind of small projects you can pick up. But as a web developer who just want to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, what I would do right now, I would go to Netflix. I will see how the Netflix app looks like, and I will just try to replicate that using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, Tailwind and JavaScript, with all the cursor movements, how those sliders are moving when I click on something, how it animates. If I can do that, then I can move on to the next steps. That's what I would do. Then Git is again controversial. If you are just a single developer building one project and that's what you want to do, don't fret about Git. Just do locally. But learning Git is, in my opinion, is can be super rich experience. Like, you will not regret it. It is something which if you want to work with any single developer apart from yourself, you will have to use Git. That is like a standard, industry standard. And what is Git, what it is not, I will not go into the detail of it. So there are a lot of Git services like GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket. You can or you can't learn about them. Maybe GitHub, just learn about GitHub. Create an account. It helps you. One of the things, like if you're a student and your goal is to get a job, creating a Git history and showing it to others is really helpful. For example, if you go to my GitHub profile, let me just, right. So if you go here, and where is, wait, how do you see your contribution stats? Okay, here. Yeah, so you can see this, like I have made 1,517 contributions in the last year, and all the contributions I have been making all the months since 1 year. So this is what Git is really useful for if I want to apply for a job and some recruiter is watching how much I code. So this gives them a good idea. Every time I commit and push my code, this gets updated automatically by Git. So it helps you get a credibility score, that how good of a regular coder you are. Not a good coder, but a regular coder. But if you're writing code which is open source, which is visible to everyone, they can also review your code and see, okay, how good you are. But being a good developer should not be your initial motivation to learn this. Just be a developer first, be a coder, write as bad code as possible, and slowly, gradually start improving the quality. That's again another domain you have to go into, like how to maintain code and how to make it modular, how to make it like how it can be maintained for a long time, how can we make like bug free, more readable. So those are the things you can do later on. Then after doing this would, if I am the teacher of a university and I have to teach this class, what I would do is I would break it into like a 2-week session where a student would not know anything about internet, and by the end of 2 weeks they will know about a bit of Git and will be writing some JavaScript in 2 weeks. So if you are really dedicated, this whole thing can be done in 2 weeks by putting like 2 or 3 hours a day. I really guarantee you that's what it needs. And then you can pick up React, Vue, Angular. I don't know. I just know React, and it has been serving really well for me since last 5 years for now. And why React? Because React has React Native, and then with React Native you can write iOS and Android apps. And I would highly suggest, if anyone is jumping into React, they should know React Native. Build your own app, and it will give you a good experience in the iOS and Android domain, how apps work. And this is really interesting. Like, React in itself is a huge course which itself needs a roadmap. uh, I would initially suggest just go with the basics of React, how to just structure a project in React and showcase it. Then go deeper into its nitty gritty details, how the whole system working, what is like shadow DOM and things like that, states, contexts, all those things. But initially, just build a very basic React project. So this would need a lot of your time if you want to get better at it. But I would suggest, the time right now is there are a lot of React developers in the market, and you can be one too. And with the help of GPT or Claude, I don't think this is like hard to learn. And if you want to buy any course, I would suggest buy a course for React, if you want to. Otherwise, every information is available freely on YouTube. There are a lot of huge tutorials on React, and you can just learn from them. Now there comes like CSS architectures. I would not worry about it. As I said, just use Tailwind, writing CSS like Tailwind. Radix is again accessibility framework, which is you can build on top of Tailwind. And then ShatCN UI is like a component library. So I would highly suggest just learn Tailwind. All of these things, not these Sass and Post CSS. I think this is 2024. We don't need to learn these. We can just move on to Tailwind, Radix, and Shed. This is the newest, latest trend right now. And if you want to, as we have already talked about framework, I would not choose anything else than React right now. No matter how many issues there are in React, people talk about, but React community is huge. Facebook is backing it up. There are huge updates coming there every time. It's supported everywhere. React Native is getting bigger and bigger every day. So pick React, you will be good. And then about package managers. Currently, I'm a big fan of Yarn. It has not disappointed me. I have used NPM in the past, and now I'm planning to move to PNPM. There are some advantages over these. PNPM is being the fastest. Yarn is working beautifully for me. So yeah, you can learn package managers. What are they? Like half an hour task for you. And then there are build tools. I would not strictly go into a lot of details into these, like what you want to learn, because this will come handy with for you automatically when you start learning React with any framework. For example, if you're learning with Next.js, it automatically comes with its own, like you can start writing it with White, or you can write with the ES build. So yeah, don't fret about it. Just learn what these are and how it will help you. I would choose White any day. And then linters and formatters they help you write beautiful code. They give you these warnings and suggestions. So Prettier and ESLint is one of those. Testing is one of the core concepts when you are building something. So I have always used like Playwright in most of my apps. Playwright is a huge framework. It gives you a lot of flexibility, and it works very well with React. So go with Playwright, you will not be wrong here. Then authentication, how authentication works. Again, going on to all of this can become very overwhelming, because now you have server-side rendering, what this, what that. Do not worry about it. Like, you can follow roadmap as such, but if you have reached till here, like you have understood React, you know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you're already a very good web developer who can build things on web and host them. Now, hosting is easier right now, because if you have learned Git, nowadays how things work, let me just explain you here in this quick video, quick explanation. Okay, this is my old explanation video. So how it works, so you write some code here, right? You writing in VS Code. Yeah, which editor you should use? I would suggest use VS Code. right? And then you push this code to Git. Git is nothing but a Git like where your code is hosted, like GitHub, where your code will be put on internet. It's not like it will not be runnable. It's similar to how it's stored in your machine. Similarly, it will be stored on internet in GitHub. GitHub is a provider where you can put your code. Now, once you put your code on GitHub, every time you write something, push it. So we say in Git language, we call it push. Push means putting your code, like uploading your code to GitHub. And then GitHub has these triggers. So you do not have to do anything. What GitHub will do, GitHub will run its own actions, which will say, I'm getting one call, maybe, wait. Yeah, so what GitHub has these triggers which will run automatically. And if you're connected to any web hosting providers, for example, I generally use Vercel, you can use Netlify, and there are many other. So if you are on Vercel or say Netlify, so if you are on, so what GitHub will do, GitHub will run its own triggers. So trigger will run, which will say, hey, some code is here. Now let's compile and upload it to Vercel. So they will send a request to Vercel. This code has changed. Now upload this website. So the website will be updated here. So for example, if you just changed your name from Divyanshu here. So what I did earlier, my name was Divyanshu on this web page, right? From locally, I just converted it to Divyanshu 2 and I pushed it. Now GitHub will say, hey, the name has changed. So what you do is change that Divyanshu 1 to Divyanshu 2 and host it on your browser. Let's say your website is hosted on HTTP, divyanshunegi.com. So if my website is hosted on divyanshunegi.com, it will automatically be updated with this new name. If either it's hosted on Vercel or Netlify or any other, it doesn't matter. So this is how Git can help you maintaining your code base and uploading. So you do not have to learn a lot of the other things which are mentioned right now, like how server-side rendering works, how you upload it, how hosting works. You just connect it with Vercel, Netlify, play with it, because there are a lot of things to learn just in this part. That do not get overwhelmed with these things. The roadmap can help you reach there, but initially that is enough, and then you can reach to like React Native and all the things like that. So yeah, this video is about how to become a web developer in 2024. What should the roadmap look like? And I feel this is the right way to learn in this era. And the whole thing can take you up to 1 to 2 months. With a good practice, you can become a really good developer. And I'm interested in knowing more of such profiles who are learning web development and are interested to work on some projects, because I work with a couple of developers myself, and I want some developers to come up as interns who want to work with me on my projects. I can help you with there. So yeah, this is the part about. Okay, cool. So I'll see you again. This week I'm planning to make 3 videos. I have already planned 2 of them, and yeah, I'm back in Goa and will be making more such videos, more such podcasts, and see you again in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye bye.